Hey, welcome everybody. It is great to see you. My name is Jonathan Tripp, and I want to welcome to our show. Today we're having a guest, Joanne Kral. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Great, great. We've been, I emailed Joanne a little bit ago and asked her if she'd be on, and we worked our schedule out, and she was finally able to be here. And today I wanted to talk with her and bring her on, ask her if she would be a guest. I just picked the topic, and I just hope I didn't go out too far, but it was distracted or disorganized. But that was after doing a little bit of reading and kind of following up with a little bit of and I just saw a YouTube video, which is actually a Snapchat video that you did, and I thought that was very creative with Emily.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought it was very creative. I loved it. So I watched that and I was like, you know what? I think this is a really good opportunity to, and I know that we all, me included, need this kind of a thing where, sometimes it's just we're kind of having to answer the question. I wanted to eventually be able to ask you. It's like, well, like, are we distracted? Are we disorganized? Because I mean, I feel that's in your wheelhouse, so to
hmm
speak. So,
Oh, yeah.
but well, Joanne, would you just do us a quick favor because not everybody knows who you are and not everybody
hmm
knows maybe how to get a hold of you or what you do. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you do?
Sure. So my name is Joanne Kral. I've been a professional organizer for just about 10 years now, and I have feedback. Can you hear that?
I
No.
don't.
All right. I'll live with it. Um, so I'm located in the greater Boston area. So I do work with clients locally here, business and residential, but I also do virtual organizing all over the world.
Mm.
That's through video conferencing, phone calls, just like regular coaching. And you have echo. Is it gone? Hmm. Hmm. Strange.
I don't I don't
You
have an
don't hear
echo
it?
personally.
Yeah.
It might be just
I
a multiple tab. Sometimes that happens.
got nothing else open, which is weird. All right. So I don't have the pre-show still open now. I don't have anything open, and I'm in Chrome. Is that the best to be in?
They say it's gone now.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's
you
still
don't have
there.
the pre-show open? Okay.
Nope, I don't have it. So yeah, it's funny when you hear the feedback. So I've been in business for 10 years. I help people with everything, but mostly paperwork. That's my paperwork and workflow and business stuff. That's really my expertise. Yeah.
I I don't hear it and I can turn down.
Okay. I was just reading. So that's essentially me. I in my former life I was an accountant, so that's kind of where my flow went. I left the accounting world. I retired in my 30s, and in my 40s decided I knew what I well right before I turned 40 knew what I wanted to be, and so I started this business, and I never looked back.
Wow. Well, that's that I love to hear those kinds of stories where where maybe you were doing something else and you decided, hey, I want to do something different. And I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
love to hear those stories, and particularly I love to hear the stories when things get when you have, it's not only just passion, but I mean you're successful in it. And I've had a chance to kind of look around, and I see you have your services, and now you're offering. There's a new course that you have, right?
Yeah,
And I know it's
yeah,
just starting out, but this is what I love, and I love to talk to
yeah,
people about when they're just starting things out.
yeah.
And tell us a little bit about how you got to the point where you're like, oh, I can do a course on this.
Well, so I've wanted to do online courses for about 6 years, and you know, as you know, 6 years ago, creating an online course was not easy. And so it was probably around last year when I discovered Periscope, and I just started getting out there because I hated being on video. The video was
Hmm.
just not my thing. I've done TV shows, which is different because it's edited and it's easy, but me sitting and talking to a video, recording anything was always a struggle for me. So once I got really comfortable with Periscope, I started going back into looking at things, and I had been creating a course for about 2 years. I've been running a free course on Facebook with a group of people, and kind of refining it. And so back in January, I finally taped it, launched it. I didn't really launch it. Taped it, put it up there, and it's out there for it's still in beta. I put it out there, and then a lot of stuff happened over the winter. So the course is still out there, and I keep telling people it's cheap right now if you want to get it. But all that course is just the first one that I did, and that's just really working on people's homes. And it's just really more of a jump start to get yourself started, to get yourself in a groove, without having to tackle everything all at once. So it's just a quick, like 29-day course. And I'm in the process, and that's what I've been working on all winter, is putting together a paperwork course. But where I struggle with courses is I don't do anything cookie cutter. So to create a course, it kind of has to come with some sort of backup with it. You can do, we all can somewhat declutter and purge in the same way, although some people need to do it in steps, some people need to do it all at once. But when you actually set up systems, that's where the kind of the unique systems need to come into play.
And I guess I know you as a professional organizer, and then doing kind of jumping into the coursework side of just being able to provide a course and again, some people are like, look, they want to give you general outlines and not so generic outlines, but like, hey, here's some really great steps, and you can implement these, and if you want more specific or personalized steps, then you contact, and they can contract with you and things. But really, what I mean, and I kind of know that's the way that it was, but what I'm looking at is kind of going, wow, we have a professional organizer. How organized is she in making her course? Like, do you find that you kind of have to step back sometimes and kind of go, oh, okay, look, I need to let's be organized. I need to be organized in my approach to actually creating a course. I mean, do you see you have to kind of keep yourself in check, or do you find it pretty natural? Or
no, it's funny because I'm an organized person, but I always tell people I'm super organized, but I'm also a procrastinator. So I need to have like systems in place that say, okay, you need to do this step, kind of going forward. And my course is on the new Kajabi, and I had been looking at Kajabi, 6 years ago or whenever, probably wasn't 6 years ago, but whenever they came out, and it just seemed so overwhelming to put all the pieces together. And when they came out with their new one, I just knew that was the time. Grab it and go, and everything's there for you. So it's pretty easy to keep on task with that. But I'm a big fan of Trello, so I use that as my kind of project management, keeping myself in line. So I have to have lists. If I don't have lists, then it just goes out of the mind. So.
It really is. I have learned that I've had to live by lists. There's just too much going on to just expect. And by the way, I just put your link.
Thank you.
It's joannecrawl.mykajabi.com. That will take you to her course, where you can. I know it's there, and I even love it. So programs, you're like, more coming soon. I appreciate it because I know you're building it, and it's not all of a sudden that it's when everything is complete and done, and you have your 37 courses that you want to have already written. You put out the one, and you say, look, hey, we're going to be having more, and then that's why I thought being able to talk with you about those kinds of things here is a really good step to being able to help us see maybe some other ways. How would a professional organizer do it? Now, so I got to ask you this question. Getting into when you're busy, sometimes we're just distracted that we're just so hectic. We have a lot of things to do on our plates. Sometimes it's family and kids and things like that. Other times it really is just business life. We just have a lot to do, and that's not to say just having a lot to do is disorganized, but I'm saying we get disorganized in our busyness. And I wanted to really just kind of ask you about that. How do you kind of work with somebody when you just see that maybe they're not just busy, but they're really disorganized? I mean, it's just, and that is actually then preventing them from getting to that kind of bringing the chaos down to a manageable level. How do you
Hmm.
work with clients in that way?
Well, it's similar to physical clutter. The first step is to get rid of all of the clutter that's going on that's keeping them busy.
Mm.
You know, and I know for me, because I'm a procrastinator, I like to find those little things that
Mm.
cause the extra clutter because it allows me to procrastinate. So, I'm always constantly asking myself every single task that I'm doing, is this moving me forward? And is
Mm.
this necessary? And so that's kind of the first step, is to identify everything that you're doing in a day or in a week or in a month, and to say, okay, is everything that I'm doing, really necessary? Because, especially, I remember talking with an organizer. I don't know if you watch the show Hoarders, if you're familiar
Mm-hmm.
with Matt Paxton. And I told him, I said, well, I don't work with hoarders. And he said, but you just told me you work with paperwork and you live in the Northeast. So, and it's not just exclusive to here, but it is a big problem here. But we're information hoarders. So we're hoarding the information on how to do this, how to do that, and ideas.
Mm.
Ideas are the biggest thing. And they're like the biggest block that keep people busy, because they're always looking at, the next idea instead of just kind of focusing down. So it's really just eliminating everything. And it doesn't mean getting rid of it. It may be just, here, we're going to file this away. It's there, but you're not going to touch it until you
Mm-hmm.
kind of zone in on one particular idea. And that was a big thing with me. You saying with the one course, I had to let go of my perfectionism. I mean, that was a big piece holding me back as well. I wanted the course to be perfect. I wanted it to look nice. And I just said, you know what? I'm just letting go of it. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm just going to have it out there, whether it sells or not right now. At least I know I accomplished it. It's done, and I can move forward to the next one. Because they always say your first course is, you're going to laugh at it when you go when you go
Mm-hmm.
back. So I said, you know what? I need
Right.
that first one to laugh at, so I can then learn from it and go forward.
Right.
And I
And
think I
they
just took a
they
little
say
step
that
away, but
they say the same thing about your videos. Your first video, you just get it out there. Just
mm-hmm.
I mean, put something out. I mean, do your best, obviously, but get it out there. Do something, and then improve from there.
Right.
And so, kind of getting onto that idea of the distracted versus just the completely disorganized, and that's why I wanted to bring
Mm.
up, and I had mentioned before, that video with the YouTube video you had done with Emily, and I never remember her last name for some reason.
It's Whitehead, but she goes by Shatters.
By
Emily
Emily Shatters.
Shatters. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it was a really great kind of I know you produced it through Snapchat, but it was really well done, and it was about a 5 minute video if I remember right. Um,
Roughly. Yeah.
and it was I really like the intro is what catches you. It really captures you, and
Yeah.
you know what, I wish I did a better job and I had that
It's. I think it's on.
that
I
look.
think it's on my Facebook page.
Is it here?
I
Okay,
think so.
then
Yeah.
let me grab it,
Yeah.
because I do want to.
Now Emily, she said, "Can you?" I forget when we decided we were going to do something, and we didn't plan anything. We just kind of said, "Okay." I said, "Emily, just intro it, and I'll go from there."
Right.
So it was literally, she did whatever. She's so creative. She just
She
did it,
is.
and then I just said, "All right," and I said, "Okay, what am I doing?" And I just talked, through the thing.
Right.
So it's kind of cool.
And no, and she did just that. I mean, it that intro is what kind of hooked me in to be able to watch,
Yeah.
and watch the video.
Hmm.
And like I said, I mean, it's not 5 minutes of Snapchat back and forth with all the crazy. I mean, it wasn't the whole thing. I mean, yeah, there's some creativity in it, but it really got your message out. And then kind of part of that is why I wanted to talk about, just being distracted, as a time organization versus maybe just being completely disorganized, and that's more of the function side of it.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that I had caught, that I had seen you've written about and talked about, is the different. I want to use the word method or strategy or type of organizing, and maybe this is me just being naive in the whole field, but are there different, like, groups of thought on how to organize and how to be organized? And I mean, how does that work?
There absolutely are. And the way I look at it is, I don't have one way that I work. I go to my client and determine, okay, this person needs this type of, you know, direction to go in, and this person needs this type of direction to go in. You know, the big thing is the Marie Kondo book. I don't know if you've heard of the magic. I can never get the title right, but the magic of tidying up, or whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
It's a very long title, which is funny, but that's part of that is the translation from She's a Japanese organizer, but I constantly have people asking me what I think about that book, and you know, will it work for me? And it works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. And because her principles that are in there, it's nothing different than what, you know, most organizers have been teaching for 20 years, except for a little bit of stuff in there, a little of the woo-woo stuff. But I've had a lot of people say, you know, so many people have had success with this book. I tried it, it didn't work for me. And I tell them that you're not a failure. It's because we all work in different, thank you, tidying up. Yep. The life-changing magic of tidying up. That's what it is. Thank you. And so, just like any book, I mean, there's so many books on organizing. Anytime I show up to a client, there's usually a stack of organizing books. They've tried, you know, and that's the other thing I tell them. Sometimes a book doesn't work. I mean, that applies to everything, right? I don't know. I've read, you know, probably 100 self-help books, but yet I still need to go to a coach to talk you through it, you know, type of thing. So as far as one method, you know, there are the basic concepts. I always go in with the method that we always have to declutter first. I mean, that's just a given. You can't organize chaos. You have to declutter. That has to be the first step. And then, you know, assessing and then going from there. But as far as how people do it, some people need to do it all in one shot, because if they do it in steps, they don't feel like they're moving forward. They don't feel like they're accomplishing anything. And but then other people, if we do it all at once, they're completely overwhelmed. They can't get through it, or it's completely, we completely organize and do everything, and then, you know, a week later it's a disaster. You know, you have to, as far as setting up systems, you know, there's, you know, everybody wants their house to look like a magazine and be, you know, perfect and everything. But if you're not the type that's going to put stuff away, you know, there's different type of people. There's people that surface clutter. There are people that you walk into their home, it's immaculate, but you know they're completely disorganized because they've called you, and you open up every cabinet and it's stuff, you know. So they have their stashers. And then there are people that just have stuff everywhere, you know, and then there's a level of hoarding. And so there's all different levels of it. And there's some people that they don't have anything, but their brain is, you know, the disorganized part, because they've got all the information in there and they just can't, they can't, you know, move forward. They're kind of stuck there.
And that's where I see each one of those being pretty self-limiting, you know, whether you're trying to, you know, keep it all in your own mind, or if you're, you know, you just can't keep up with the mess. And, you know, and I mean, mess isn't like, I've totally made this, and that I don't take time to file, or I don't take time to throw away. And I say that, now this is in confession, I just went through 7 boxes of paper yesterday.
That's great.
Yes. I didn't throw them out. I said I just went through them. No.
That's okay. But knowing what's in them is a big step.
And, you know, that was the first thing. Instead of just trying to, like, empty the boxes out and, like, okay, I'm going to start with an empty box, or, you know, any kind of silliness like that, it was more of just like, okay, what do I actually have?
Right.
And then being able to assess it and say, okay, one, I know I look at this, when I look at a bunch of paper, I look at, do I see any patterns? Do I see, like, a whole bunch of the same kind of a thing?
Exactly.
And then I'll ask, okay, do I need to get rid of that? You know, because I love to keep things that my kids make. I'll be honest. I'll keep them because maybe right now I forget about it, and I'm going to put it, maybe I'm too sentimental, and you can call me on this.
Yeah.
I'll keep them in a box. I won't look at them. I'm not constantly bringing it out.
Yeah.
But maybe in a year or two I will. Now,
so
what does that say?
No. That doesn't say it. No, we all do that. I've done that. But before, you're talking about filing, as much as I'm like the paperwork is my expertise, I hate to file. So for me, you know, when somebody says to me, touch a paper once, that's your rule, it doesn't work for me. I need to process it, then put it in a pile to be filed. And I file like once a month. That's the way I do it. I have a to be filed pile that then goes into a to be filed folder that will eventually be filed when the folder gets too thick. So that works for me. But for kid stuff, my kids are older now. They're teenagers, and they laugh at some of the stuff that I've kept. And but what I started to do, because both of my kids were very artistic. I mean, I had boxes of stuff from them and too much stuff. I mean, I kept every little drawing that they made from when they were 2 years old. So what I started to do was lie them out on the floor by grade. So say, it was first grade, and all the artwork from first grade, I'd lie as many pieces out as I could, and I'd take a photo of it. And back when I was doing that, I would print the photo and write on the back. Now we would just do it digitally. I would just label the photo with the child's name and the grade. And so and I would keep a few pieces. I would keep some of the physical pieces for them, but most of it was just kept digitally so that they could see, okay, this is the artwork that I did in first grade, and this is what it looked like. And then here is, because it's interesting, when I was a kid, we did not have as much paper as they do today, which is pretty ironic.
Weird, because aren't we supposed to be digital?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think if I printed out, if I got a piece of mail for every email that I get, it'd be ridiculous. Like I'd start burning things, because just to keep up with it, you can't do it.
Right.
But even so now, we're still getting a lot of paper.
Right. For sure. Especially in the school systems, which is very interesting. I mean, a lot of us tend to go digital with bills and things like that, but it's still, and because, legality, contracts are so much bigger now. And thankfully, a lot of lawyers are starting to move towards digital, which is helpful. But, it's like when you would close on a house 30 years ago, you'd have maybe this much paper. Now you have like a stack like this, it's crazy. And that's another thing as far as digital versus paper. Everybody thinks they need to be digital, and that doesn't work for everybody as well. I mean, we're all hoarding digital information and stuff, so that isn't really any better than paper. Takes up less space in our homes, but not in our computers or our minds.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I look at it, would I rather have 7 boxes of papers or maybe 500 gigabytes of scanned documents that are, at least I have a chance at finding, assuming that I've labeled them right and stuff.
Right.
And I think just, it is a combination of knowing what to save and what to throw away. I think some of it is. Some of us are afraid to throw away things, me included, because I'm New England. I have that New England mindset. Now, I'm here in Virginia right now, but I used to live up in New Hampshire, and
really?
we keep everything. Like, you see a screw on the floor, I might need that.
Exactly.
15 years later, you still have like 87 peanut jars full of screws that you may or may not use. They're not organized. They're just in the jar, right? That is so. I mean, and I used to do clean outs for different levels. We'll call them different levels of hoarders. Some of them,
interesting.
Some of them are. It's epic. Like you cannot wrap your mind around it. And I don't think. I think the vast majority of us never have to come in contact or never really deal with that in a serious way because it's not an issue for us. But we all do kind of have like that junk drawer that we just want to keep, or that couple of boxes of stuff that we never go through. But I think more practically, it's how do we keep our desk? And I don't mean like everything has to be like super tidy and if everything falls in lines. Is it organized? You can have an organized pile of papers. Yeah. I'm convinced that. I mean.
Yeah, I'm a piler. My desk is not immaculate by any means, but I know where everything is and I know it works. And because I'm visual, I need to have it out. If it's tucked away in a drawer, I won't remember it.
Yeah, and I know for our junk drawer becomes the drawer where I don't have another place for it. So it becomes, it's like it's like the X-Files of everything that's like, I don't know what to call this, so we're just going to put it in this drawer. You know? And we have that kind of like for some like tools and papers and stuff. Then we have it for like our kitchen utensils and stuff like, I don't know what this thing is, but we're just going to put it in there, figure it out. So, I mean, how do you, when you come into situations like that, and where it's not, like I said, we're not like talking like 8 feet of piled papers and collection of shoes that are, just out of control. When you come into like an office setting and you see those kinds of situations, how do you address those? How do you handle those?
Just literally item by item, kind of going through and
Mm-hmm.
talking about what's there and what's not. I mean, usually it moves pretty fast.
Okay.
It's, once people have you there, they look at their stuff differently,
Mm-hmm.
because they say, oh, I have to really tell you why I have this, or and a lot of people don't know a gasoline in a match. I like that. um, I'm getting a lot of feedback again. Anybody else hearing my feedback? Okay, good. Um, so it's really just there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of, you know, what is it? And then
Mm-hmm.
once you're on a roll with that stuff, it goes really
Mm.
fast because you start the whole mindset says, okay, now I understand. Why am I even, keeping this? So I always tell people, maybe in an office situation, there's not a whole lot of do I love this. In the home there is. But so in an office situation, it's truly do I need it? Not will I need it, do I need it? And if people are saying to me, well, I might need it, that's when I have to say, okay, you might need it. Would it be really hard to find again, or would it be really expensive to replace?
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer to those are yes, then keep it. But if not, get rid of it,
Right.
because chances are we're not going to need things that we say we might need. Like
Right.
that screw, like you said, a
Yeah.
screw is easy to replace, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
is it worth it to discard it for the time, or to give it away, or whatever?
right,
You
right.
remove it. Oh, and then is it, can you replace it? Because, and that's how I feel, like, personally. That's how I feel with a lot of my kids' things.
Hmm.
That's irreplaceable. They're never going to make that thing again. So,
Right,
I'm a little more sentimental. But when it comes to other things, I mean, I'm just, you know what's that? I don't even, if I can't identify it quickly, it's gone.
right.
Just throw it
Yeah,
away now.
yeah.
So.
And sentimental stuff, I have no problem with people holding on to that stuff as long as it's not causing them anxiety, because a lot of people do have anxiety over it because
Mm-hmm.
they feel like it needs to be organized in a certain way, or they need it to be, or it's not all together, it's all of it. Pictures are a
Mm.
big one. Pictures are usually all over the place. They're never in one central location. So people are like, I know that I have them, I don't know what I have. So when it starts to cause anxiety, then it's like, okay, maybe we need to pare it down.
Yeah.
But if it's not causing anxiety, and your kids maybe one day are going to go, really, you kept all this, they don't want it, and you go, okay, well, great, but at least
Yeah, but, well, it doesn't have
you
the
know,
same meaning for them that it
right,
does for me, as the
exactly.
father. But when it comes to, like, our office and our business, I think it becomes, I really do. I think it becomes a much more simple question of, like you said, like, are we going to use it? Is it
Hmm.
actually usable? Are you using it now, or are you going to use it in a reasonable amount of time? And
Right,
or can you replace it?
right,
Like, if this goes away, can you replace it? Because there's some, and then, outside of, like, the legal requirements, there's some things that you have to keep on file for X number
right,
of years or months or whatever, or company
right.
policies. And
Hmm.
those are some of the things, and that's kind of why I think outside of our personal lives, we ask those questions. Um,
Right.
and I know you specialize in paperwork organization.
Hmm.
Can you give us any tips on how to think about being a better paperwork organized?
Well, my first tips, it can be either for home or office, is to reduce what's coming in. So for catalogs, my favorite site is catalogchoice.org, and I probably can type it in. Um, so anytime you buy something from a website or whatever, they're automatically going to send you something in the mail, whether you want it or not. So you can go to this site and you can say, I never want to receive another LL Bean or another whatever catalog again, and they'll stop sending it to you, which is great. It's all in one spot. The other
Mm-hmm.
place is to reduce junk mail. If you go to dmachoice.org, you can opt in to be taken off selling lists, for everything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
And within there, and I'm not sure if, I think the link is in there, but credit card offers, these are the biggest ones because these are the ones that we need to, oh, sorry, I did it wrong. The credit card offers that we get in the mail.
Okay.
You can opt out of those for 5 years or forever. I opted out of them 5 years ago forever, and I've never received another credit card offer in my life. I'm
Wow.
trying to get my husband did it. I think
So that's
188 opted,
1-888-5
5
opt out.
I'm pretty sure that's the number. Yeah, I'll double check that, but I think that's it. And he did it 5 years ago, but for 5 years, and almost to the day, the credit card offers just keep coming in. We have to call again and get rid of it.
So
because
it does
in
work.
reality, you don't really need credit card offers. You can just go and apply anyway. You go online and search for the best deal. You're not going to really go buy something that comes in the mail. You're still going to get stuff from your current cards,
Right.
but you're not going to get from new card companies trying to get you to sign up, which is great because they'll send them to people, anybody, even if you have terrible credit. A lot of my clients do have terrible credit, and it's constant. I have to get them right on that to get rid of it. So that's a first step, reducing what comes in. In a business, a big thing is printing emails. A lot of people still want to print every single email, believe it or not. Oh, it didn't work? Catalog choice? Oh, you know what? It's .org. Do it again. It's early. I had a meeting. Or try that. And did I do dmachoice.org? Did I even put that one in? Does that one go away?
Okay, so they say that one works, right?
Okay. Did I not type? Oh, there it is. dmachoice.org. Yeah, this should work. Okay. Did they work? Should have had those ready. If you just Google Direct Marketing Association too, that will come up. And same catalog choice. Okay, good.
Nice.
That's a big one. Catalogs. It's great to help your elderly friends and family because they get tons of them.
And they were in a generation where what you got in the mail was worth reading.
Exactly.
And that's changed.
Yeah.
It's just like every piece of email I get, I'm sorting before I read. I don't read every single one. I'm just looking at, okay, is this important? And I'm going to guess if it looks like it's junk, it's probably gone.
Right. Yeah.
I've got too much.
Yeah. So reducing the amount of paperwork is first. Any bills that you can do electronically, digitally, there's still those bills that come in paper. And the way I handle that, so a lot of people get stressed out of the fact that some bills come through email, some come through their e-bill in their bank, some come through paper, some are they still have a coupon book or they're automatic. I just have a little sheet that I print out every month that has every bill that I pay for the month, and I just put in the amount so that I know, and then I go in and I pay everything. Some things come out automatically, but some things I will schedule myself. So I have all the bills in one place, and even on the side I'll say, email, paper, so I know exactly how those are coming in, and I do that for me, but I also do it for my husband because he doesn't pay the bills. So if anything was to happen to me, he would know, okay, these are the bills that come in. This is how I'm going to get them. They're either going to come through email, I'm just going to automatically pay them because I know the amount and all that.
That's interesting. I'd like to see that. I mean, that's an easy way. And though you just gave us 3, it's catalogchoice.org. Is that what it was? .org. The dmachoice.org. And then it's the 1-888-5 opt out are 3 ways to be able to reduce just the clutter that you're just getting in the mail.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, a lot of that is for home, but a lot of people that I work with are entrepreneurs and they work at home. So they've got their business stuff coming in and they're, the DMA website is awesome. I mean, it used to be when I did it first, it used to be that you would send a letter to New York and it was, you had to send like a copy of your, I think you had to send like a copy of your license or your address. You had to put in all the information. Now it's great. You can just do it online, but it definitely works. I do not get a lot of junk mail. The only junk mail that I get is local stuff, like the flyers,
Right.
and occasionally I'll get something. You'll still get any of the political stuff, which is just going to start rolling in now, right?
Yeah.
And also charities. Charities won't. Well, that's for paper, but mostly for the phone.
Okay.
They don't apply to
That's
the do not call.
I love to see those, and I wonder, kind of just go back and we just want to Keith had asked I thought it was a pretty good question in the chat. He says he says it's a serious question. He says I have anxiety. See if I can find
What
it
did
again. He says I have anxiety about taking on organizing because the act of organizing takes so much time and mental energy that I have very little of. How do you assess the ROI if you will on actually organizing the time cost benefit? That's a big question, but I'm sure you kind of deal with it. How do you assess, like, is it worth going through it or just throw it all away?
Um, I think it's mentally, I think it's worth going through it because some people have the ability to just throw stuff away. They don't even care. I mean, I can tell you, some clients give me anxiety because they just want to throw it away too and not even shred it. And I go,
Oh,
oh my God, you've got to shred that. You can't.
right.
Somebody's knocking on my door, but it's a salesperson. I'm going to ignore them. Um, so I'm surprised my dog didn't bark. So if he barks, forgive me. Um, so, but I think it's worth kind of going through stuff. But it doesn't have to all happen at once. So if you have anxiety about it, ignoring salespeople. Yep, I am. Don't you have to know you have to know your own limitations. Me personally, I love to tackle things all at once. Like it makes me feel really good to do it all at once. But I can tell you, most of my clients don't. Oh, you can't throw anything away. That's a big one. Yeah. So now I've completely lost the question. So whether it's worth it to go through it, is that what we were talking about? Worth? It's definitely, you saying return on investment.
Yeah, meaning is it worth the time and effort and then just the mental energy it takes to go through?
Yeah.
Is it worth it to have a very clean and cluttered place or decluttered place?
I think it is. I mean, clutter definitely affects everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
Being messy is one thing, but having an overwhelm of not knowing what's there, it just slows you down. You definitely are not going to be as productive. If you find that you're spending a lot of money because you can't find things or you're losing things, that for sure, that is a huge. I mean, a lot of people say to me, I can't afford to have you come in. And some people, I say, you can't afford to not have me come in. I mean, I find money. I find checks that people haven't cashed. I find cash. I find jewelry that they've lost forever that they can cash in. So, or I find, say for an example, spices. This is what I always use for people. I'll go in and they'll have like 7 of the same spices. We all know spices aren't cheap, right? So, I mean, that's just one small piece of your house that they're like, oh, I can't find that spice, so I'm just going to go buy it. The amount of money that people waste being disorganized it's a lot. And, just not knowing where your stuff is, and that's just the money. But I think the mind, I mean, if your mind is cluttered and you're not being productive, so you're definitely not you're not going to make as much money. If you're in business and you're in business for yourself, you have to be organized, and you can't be successful unless you have somebody helping you, with all that.
Right. Well, a lot of people are solo entrepreneurs, or they don't see that paying their employees to help them get organized is worth it, because when they stop doing this, and I think this is really kind of to Keith's real point, is that do I stop doing revenue creating activities to try to get organized? Which I mean, in all honesty, I mean, you're not, unless you're a professional organizer, you're not going to get paid to make sure that your office or desk is clean and organized or whatever. And I mean, my perspective, I'm just going to go back, and I was looking for the video and I just can't find the link. But
the video that I did, I realized that it's not on my Facebook page. It's on it's on the Snap Homies Facebook page because I realized I didn't upload that. Emily did to that, so it
Let me
should
see
be
if
on
that's
that
the
one.
one.
Let me
But
see if I can find it on
she
me.
made it. It was, and just to kind of give it away. I mean, I really liked it. What the first part of the video, it went like this. It was just a narrative of a disorganized. I'm running late. I can't find this. Where is this? Kind of a morning. And I love it. By the time she hits the door, she's like, "Look, I'm already 20 minutes late. I wonder how this is going to work out today."
Right.
And that in and of itself, and I said, and I got to think, I was like, you know what? Every once in a while, I'm late. Something comes up like like I forgot to do this, or like I put my wallet down, or I put my keys down, and it was because of something else, right? But
Right.
once in a while, we're not talking about once in a whiles. We're talking about, look, this you're 20 minutes late to work every day, or you're 20 minutes out the door every day, and the stress that causes you,
Mm-hmm.
and on and on. And so that's where I kind of get back to what Keith was talking about and mentioning and saying, I think that if it slows you down and prevents you from being productive in other areas, and I mean seriously productive,
Right.
then you need to say, look, I need to do. I mean, it's kind of like, well, are you just going to drive your car until it's completely out of gas? Or you can say, well, look, I don't have time to go fill up with gas. Well, guess what? I mean, at some point you're going to run out of gas and you need to go fill your car up. Because otherwise you're not going to make it to your destination, because the one problem that you have is going to prevent you from doing everything else.
Right.
And that's how I've always thought about it with that.
Exactly. So it's on. It's. I don't even think it's on their Facebook page. I just found it on the YouTube. It's on the Snap Homies YouTube account.
Okay.
That's where it moved to.
Let me see if I can draw that up, because that, if not, I'll definitely share it in, because I know I've seen it. I think I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've got the link right here.
It's
But
called
I
Healthy.
loved it. I thought it was great, and I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I shared that with everybody else here, if I can find that one. Thriving Creative Corner. I'll drop that in our group. Actually, you know what? I'll put it into our after party, which is actually a really good point to bring up. Let's at this point let's bring our discussion over to our kind of after show party, and I always invite people to come on and ask you questions live, or
Mm-hmm.
they can do that. It's a little more interactive, and
Yeah.
but I want to say, Joanne, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you for
Thank
sharing, kind
you.
of giving us a little behind the scenes on some how to do this and how to think about this, and I really appreciate that.
I do have a free tip sheet.
Oh, great.
Let me just. It's gonna. I think it. I don't know how to show up there. Did that work? It's not a link.
It's bit.ly so tips.
Yeah. Sensible organizer tips.
It might.
Did it work?
I don't know. Sometimes the hyperlink here. We'll just make
Oh yeah.
there we
There
go.
you go. That's just my basic tips
Perfect.
on overall tips on starting a organizing project. I think it's been a while since I set that one up.
Right. Well, Joanne, thank you so much. And if if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do that? Is it through a website, through a Facebook page? Where would you like people to get a hold of you at?
Probably the best way is through I'd say phone, because honestly, you can text, or I'll put in my phone and then I'll
Okay.
put in my email.
Mhm.
Because some people don't want to. You know what? I'll put in my Facebook page. You're right. And that I have to hyperlink it, right? Or no? I'll do it. Work? Yeah.
Perfect. At the Sensible Organizer.
That's
And I
me.
do know that if you do search that, you are able to, it's pretty easy to find. So in
Okay,
addition to
good.
your
Yeah.
website. So,
Yeah.
but great. Joanne, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And it's really been a pleasure to being able to talk with you today, and hear some of the strategies and things that you're thinking about and what work, and things like that. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, everybody else, thank you so much. We're going to be taking our show right now over to over to the after show party. And the easiest way to get to it, you can get over there, firetalk.com/, and it's just Jonathan Tripp Live. I'll be posting that link, so if you're watching this or watch this on the replay, you can actually see replays of this shows and others posted in it just as a playlist, and so you're able to watch some of the other shows when we're actually not live. I would say if you are interested, would like to be part of our social communities, you can look us up on Facebook. The easiest way to do that is group.jonathantripp.com. That's for our Facebook. And if you're into and prefer Google Plus, you can just do googleplus.jonathantripp.com. And either one of those will take you to our social communities for this show. And we'd love to have you. So with that, I will see you tomorrow. We're going to do another show. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about social for small business right here on our Fire Talk channel. And so that'll be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So with that, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.